in Addis Ababa for the second Africa-CARICOM Summit, Reparatory Justice. The Youth Charter has issued a global call to action to mobilize young people across Africa, the Caribbean and the diaspora. Now, the UK-registered UN-accredited charity has spent over 30 years using sport, arts, culture and digital technology to empower disadvantaged youth. Its founder and executive chair, Professor Geoff Thompson, is calling for greater investment in youth leadership, inclusive community campuses and alignment with Africa's Agenda 2063 and the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. He joins us now to share how his vision can be put into action. Prof, thanks very much indeed for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Peter. It's a pleasure to join you.
So perhaps let's start with you telling us what the Youth Charter is and what inspired you to start it 30 years ago.
The inspiration for the Youth Charter will have come from my conscious awareness of Africa, its young people and the struggles of the time, the 1976 Soweto uprising. As a young teenager, I was fascinated by the bravery, the spirit, and the assertive nature of the young people of that time, of that moment, that awoken me and awoken the rest of the world to the injustices of apartheid. I then was facing my own racial intolerances as a black teenager in London and found the pastime of karate as my way of defending myself and giving me the self-discipline, the emotional strength and resilience to meet whatever challenges I would face in life. That saw me win medals, represent Britain, and begin to socially influence, as a result of my medals, the ability to contribute to the communities that had developed me. And the Youth Charter was born in 1993, following the loss of a young 14-year-old schoolboy on the streets of Moss Side, Manchester. I launched the Charter. I was part of Live Aid in '85. Geldof used the F word. I asked, please. And in that March 23rd moment, when I launched it in London at Wembley in November, I would then go to South Africa and contribute to the vision for sport for the new South Africa. In 1996, the Youth Charter was launched on Youth Day in South Africa, and we have continued ever since, engaging young people with sport, art, culture and digital, equipping them with the mental, physical, emotional resilience, and then empowering them, the all-important empowerment, to aspire to further higher education, employability or entrepreneurship. That is the social, cultural, economic ecosystem that must now still be provided to the youth of South Africa, and the Caribbean.
Your recent global call to action proposes 5 key priorities: empowering youth, championing reparatory justice, building community campuses, strengthening diaspora links, and aligning with sustainable development goals. Which of these are proving most urgent and which are most overlooked from your perspective?
The most urgent issue is the restorative justice aspect of reparation, slavery reparation. It is a geopolitical issue. It is not going away. And I think Prime Minister Mia Mottley's leadership in this regard has been exemplary. But I do think we need to come up with a tangible and realistic proposition. We know that the geopolitical debt that would be one of the key requirements of meeting that restorative ask will not happen. We also know that the reparation payments that could be equitable to the other examples we've seen at the UN, where restorative justice is negotiated, equally will fall into requiring something that gives young people a real sense of hope and opportunity, as well as, I think, reset the relationship and this particular politically thorny issue. So reparation bursaries for young people is what I want to share as my exclusive to you. Reparation educational bursaries, entrepreneurships, internships, apprenticeships, I believe is a socioeconomic way, measurable way, against the UN Sustainable Development Goals And the community campus is modeled on those goals: education, health, gender equality, collaborations and partnerships, the difficult one, skills, employability and training, climate change. These are extrapolated from the 17 goals, but are then embedded in our schools, in our universities, in our colleges. And when we have, for example, the South African's national youth policy, that's a policy, but an engagement strategy. The community campus is a model. The social coaches, the generational golden thread, rebuilds the trust, confidence, and respect we need to have the youth leadership. So it's a holistic approach, it's an integrated approach, but it's a measurable approach of impact that gives confidence, not by way of donation or charity, but an investment in our young people, which is an investment in our communities. And within the spirit of Ubuntu, me becomes we. We need to reset, we need to recalibrate, we need to represent the very gifts and talents, God-given gifts and talents, that I believe the spirit of Ubuntu provides, and the late President Mandela's political genius of using sport and the arts as the cultural vaccine and antidote to the evils of apartheid, I believe decades on must now redefine itself.
Your vision emphasizes strengthening ties between young Africans and Caribbean youth. I wonder, in practical terms, how can they collaborate to build that shared prosperity that you envision?
Well, I believe the digital age is already doing that. Young people of both continents are already interacting and using their creative gifts to come up with the type of alternative approaches to empowering themselves. And this is one of the great challenges we face as a diaspora. Bringing the African continent with the Caribbean continent, all that were divergent as a result of slavery, has seen empowerment, has seen the ability to look beyond the traditional barriers, the traditional pathways. So they're already being creative. So the digital age, I believe, is something and a medium that has to be encompassed, it has to be embraced, and it had to be utilized. But I think once you have that fueling the ecosystem, and that's why the campus was developed, it's a model, it's a cultural framework. It allows that engagement, equipment, and empowerment for the community, by the community, with the community. Once you create that ecosystem, it is a canvas that allows the creativity to come to the fore. I also believe that the sporting, cultural, and artistic talent that has come from the continent that not only represents Africa, as we'll see in the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, the African diaspora of talent will be featuring in other countries of the world who have seen their power. We have to use that power because when it inspires, we have to bring real, tangible motivation. And I believe if the African Caribbean alliances that are being built, that is where we can put a tangible plan of engagement, action, empowerment, and impact.
All right, and perhaps briefly, if you could speak directly to every young person listening across Africa and the Caribbean and the diaspora, what single message would you want them to carry with them today?
Never give up on your dreams. Remember, you are empowered beyond your understanding. Use your gifts wisely. Serve God, work hard, and treat people as you wish to be treated. And never, 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 ever give up. So many people gave up on me many, many years ago. Many years later, they could only look at me with amazement. They are blessed and talented beyond their understanding. It is for them to challenge us and for us to respond and see generational legacy, truly something that we can be proud of as continents of the diaspora.
And on that inspiring note, that's where we're going to have to leave it. Professor Thompson, it's been a pleasure talking to you and listening to your inspirational message.
Thank you for having me. Stay blessed.
Thank you so much. That's Professor Geoff Thompson, founder and executive chair of the Youth Charter.